Hello, welcome to Creative You Podcast. It's a knitting and crocheting podcast. And today I'm going to unbox the Louisa Harding trunk show. Louisa Harding is an incredible designer. It has been fun to watch her designs evolve along the years. And today's collection is outstanding. Every year they introduce some new Louisa Harding yarns. This is one that came out a few years ago called Girandola. And if I see a word and I don't know what it means, I gotta look it up. So there's the word. And Girandola is a firework. It's shaped just like that. And it goes up and comes down and the fireworks are around it. You really have to watch a YouTube video. They have competitions with Girandolas. So my name is Catherine Kirby. I own Creative You Yarn Shop in McSherrystown, Pennsylvania. We're just a block away from Hanover, Pennsylvania, the home of Utz Potato Chip, Clark Bostonian Shoes, Hanover Horse Farms, and it's a lovely place to live. I'm born and raised here, and I'm excited to get on with the show. I've had a lot going on. I've had a lot of things that I've done, but I'm going to hold back on that and show you the things that I just got out of the box. I am seeing these as you're seeing these, so if I seem a little bit maybe unknowledgeable, I didn't take the time to read up. I wanted to see it as you're seeing it. So let's start with the show. This is called Denali. For those of you that may not know, Denali is a park, like a animal park. Well, maybe not. In Alaska, it's a national park. And come to think of it, my husband and I just watched a movie. What was that called? It wasn't based on a true story, but it was about a race that's run once a year in Africa. And you actually go through the areas where the wild animals are, and you can get attacked and die. It was quite harrowing. And I mean, at the end of the movie, when they take all the posters down of the runners missing, missing, no, never to be heard of again. But it was a story about victory and overcoming, but it was hard to watch. The Furnace, that's what it was called, The Furnace. We saw another good movie about ex-hockey player who got trapped in the mountains. There's the edges. And this one was a true story. All of these patterns can be found on knittingfever.com. So here's the pattern. Whoops. This looks like this would be an easy level knit. And looks like here's the little crossover part where you tie it. The yarn feels nice. You know, one of the ladies that was here for a knit in on Saturday, a workshop, said that a while back she had been at a yarn shop. She loved this scarf. She bought the yarn. The scarf seemed to take forever. It was a basket weave pattern. And when she finally got done, she couldn't stand it around her neck. It just drove her. So it is nice to kind of see, is this a yarn that's going to feel nice around my neck? And let me see if I can show you that yarn. This is done with Lucy. That's what I thought. And I don't have my hand on Lucy right now, but when I get to it, I will show you. So just a simple, easy knit, and then lots of fun wearing it. This is a Girandola pattern. This is a cotton acrylic viscose blend, and it looks like it has shiny parts and then parts that have a matte finish. You get a whopping 612 yards. It's a number 3 or DK weight yarn. And this reminded me of the 1920s, the flappers. I didn't find that, I'm not finding the hat. So it's either here and I'm not seeing it, or it's not here. But here are the gloves. They feel nice and soft. What do these colors remind you of? There's grays and golds and creams. There is no thumb. It's just a slip-on mitt in like a old shell type pattern. It reminds me of being out in the woods and campfires on a fall day. I would not have thought of putting gray in with the warm colors, but it works. So we were talking about the 1920s and the flapper girls the other day, and what really stirred it was a professional magazine came in, and one of the photos for the pattern, there was a hole under the arm, and it stirred me to think about when I was a sophomore in high school. We put on a play of the different musical decades, starting with the 20s. And one of the girls in our class, Teresa, her grandmother still had dresses from that era, and she lent lots of these dresses. We were told, listen, these dresses are fragile. Do not do anything to them. My dress had a big gaping hole under the armpit. So when I'm up there doing my dun-dun-da, dun-dun-da, my family said, this woman in the audience said, look at that big hole under that girl's arm. Yeah, that was mine. But my mother recently told me that my sister never gave back her dress. My mother is just finding this recently, all these years later. I'm 61 now. I was 15 and took it back to the family, and they said, oh, we never missed it. They had even forgotten that the dresses got lent out. So that's Girandola. I'd like to do the hat. This yarn comes in lots of neat colors. And I'm going to show you some more projects done out of this yarn in a minute. So the stories that we remember, right? It is funny, the things that that really stand out. And sometimes you'll start thinking of people from high school that you haven't thought of in years. I like this top a lot. She did a lot of neat, savvy drop stitch designs. This is kind of a boat neck. Isn't this lovely? This is called Meadow Sino, and this is done in the colorway Montovino, and it takes 2 skeins for the smaller size and then 3 and 4. This would feel really nice against your skin. Really nice. And that is done with a size 6 needle. And you do the back and then the front and put them together. So that's that, and that's Girandola yarn. I've caught my scarf. And this is also a Girandola pattern. Isn't that pretty? Purples and greens look so lovely together. So a little short sleeve sweater. And I'll show you the pattern here as soon as here it is. I was going to say as soon as I come to it. This is called Adriana. And I can honestly say I've never known anyone named Adriana. There's the back. It is a pretty name. has a little seed stitch border. I don't know what your likes and dislikes are about podcasts, but one of my loves is seeing things that people have knit. And one of my peeves is when they show it and then right away it's gone and you're like, I want to see more of that. Show me more, please. So there's the seed stitch border and the neckline. This is done in pieces. And if you've never properly learned how to seam, do a YouTube video or take a class, because you've put so much time into your pattern, you don't want to have sloppy seaming, and other knitters will be very hesitant to tell you that the seaming's not good. So this is done on a US 3 needle, and left front, right front, back, and so forth. So I believe that name probably has something to do with grape vineyards. What about you? If you see a word that you don't know, can you just pass it over? Or are you like me? Do you have to look it up? I have to know what it means. I have seen this pattern, and I was really curious to see what it looks like knitted up. It's 2 different colors of Girandola together. And it is called Loredana. And there's the back. When I first saw this pattern, I was worried that the model is quite thin and it looked very tapered, that maybe it wouldn't fit regular sized people, but no, it looks really nice. This used 2 colors, Ruby by the Sea and Pacific Indigo. And it gives you different options of different colors. But this feels really nice. So there it is. It would be neat too to see it pictured in other colors as well. And let's see what else. This is so fun. My favorite thing about a trunk show is when a yarn shop gets together with a yarn company and agrees to accept samples and take care of them and then send them back. A normal trunk show lasts about 2 weeks, but sometimes it could be one afternoon. So my favorite part is opening the box, pulling all these things out. My least favorite part is packing them up and sending them back. Amatola is a yarn that has been out for, I don't know, maybe 4 years. It comes in the number 2 weight, and this one is called TikTok. It comes in the bigger weight called Amatola Grande, and it comes in a brush mohair, which is the newer one. So this is the TikTok, and this is just a simple little shawlette. And you know what? I think this would look really cute. Oh, it does. It has a tassel. So it's just a nice little, it also looks nice when you put a bead before you do the tassel. That really looks nice. This yarn is soft. It's a wool silk blend, and it self-stripes. And there it is. This would be a fairly easy pattern. There's some lace work. If you haven't done lace, don't be afraid of it. It's basically yarn overs, knit 2 together, sometimes knit 3s together. Here's the pattern. And it's a 1 skein project. And if you wanted to make it bigger, you could keep going. So what have my husband and I been up to? One night we went to the Dobbin House in Gettysburg. It's like stepping back in time, back into the days of maybe George Washington. The tavern, you go down, it's kind of dark, and they have the spiral cast iron candle holders that your wax candle is in there, and then you turn it. And the waiters and waitresses are dressed in the old-time tavern garb. And it was really fun just to get out with my husband. And so this is the Amatola brushed mohair. Yesterday we went out with friends, and so this is a pattern that creates a diagonal right down that part of the pattern. The end is, I think, clever. And this feels really nice. You could scrunch it up. It's lightweight. It's springy. Here's the pattern. It's called Acadia. And it takes 1 skein, or you can do a 2 skein project. And the yarn is big and fluffy. And let me find out where the yarn is. I tried to get everything out so I wouldn't make all these annoying noises while I was showing you the projects, but I'll come to it. So that is the Acadia shawl. That would be a pretty mindless project, I think. And it would keep you warm while you're knitting it. The color changes are pretty. And here's another project done with Amatola brush called Jacaranda. Looks like some brioche. It uses regular Amatola and Amatola brushed. There's the pattern. So let's take a look. So anyway, we had friends and we went out for lunch, like brunch. And then we spent the day together, and we were out running around, and our friend said, hey, let's get supper. And we went way outside of town to an authentic Italian close. We came back into a place that specializes in fried chicken clothes. We ended up right back at the first restaurant we ate at, and Ted said, I don't think I've ever eaten at the same restaurant twice in the same day. Oh, look how beautiful. So let's find our right side and our wrong side. I think that's our right side. Once again, this is luscious, warm, furry, fuzzy, really pretty. Let's see, here's the other side. Oh, I think this might be the right side. Big and roomy. I'm sure you could wear it a couple different ways, and this is the way they picture it. You know, when I see the patterns, I'm happy, but when I actually see and feel and try on, I'm like over the top. So we all got meatloaf when we went back. They did have a meatloaf, though, that you got onion rings, mashed potatoes, meatloaf, and then gravy. None of us got that. We just got the meatloaf. But it came out, it was a huge slab of meatloaf. It was really big. The little Amatola, which again is wool and silk, this is, I thought, a very clever hat. I've wanted to do this, and I just never got, wrong pattern, never got to it. So that is the way it's worn, with the, I guess, right about like that. It's called Glacier Bay. It's done on a US 3, and there are 3 different sizes. It's a 1 skein project. So I still think that would be fun to do. So I was rushing to get home because I had an appointment with Megan of Good Old Tales, and that's where I got my dog Hartley. And I was running late, and she wasn't responding back that she got my message. I have been, even though I love Hartley to pieces, and here's a funny thing about the dog. I was trying to put together a podcast where I'd have the music and the intro and then my podcast the last time. And I got them together, but I couldn't get the music to stop when the intro was over. And the more I tried, the more I messed up the podcast, to the point that my voice wasn't with my mouth and all this stuff going awry. And then my husband's name, Paul Kirby, somehow went under the dog's picture. And I couldn't get it out. My husband said, "Oh, just tell him you're married to a dog." So I had an appointment to look at a shop dog. This is a slip stitch pattern that combines Amatola Grand with, two colors of the Amatola Grand, not the Amatola brush. This knits up really soft, and I think this is very pretty. Let's find the pattern here. So I've picked out several dogs on the Good Old Tales site that I thought would be really good for the shop, and then all of a sudden somebody else is adopting them. I've really gotten into the whole thing because so many dogs are just, and cats are just discarded, and it's not right. They give you their heart and their soul, and then, there was a dog whose owner went into hospice, and the family just wouldn't bother to take the dog to visit. And so over the weekend, I saw this bookstore where they have kittens throughout the bookstore. So cute, just sitting on top of a shelf or dozing on a chair, but they're adoptable. And I thought that would be a really nice thing to do as a business, to have a cat that's adoptable. So last night, at first I thought I was going to meet Rocket. Rocket was a little toy dog, very, very cute, who got really taken in to be euthanized because of seizures. But no seizures were ever witnessed, and he seems to be fine. He might not have been a good fit with Hartley because it sounds like he kind of antagonizes other dogs. And then there was a adorable little snuggler that weighed about 8 pounds named Cindy Lou. And I thought she would be good, but then she's getting adopted. So Megan had an appointment. Megan is the owner of Good Old Tales. She does it out of her home to look at Lily. Lily is a little, maybe Welsh Terrier. They don't really know. When she came, Megan was told, "Look, I don't know what you're going to be able to do with this dog because you can't even touch her. She screams." Well, her hair was so severely matted that she couldn't move without being in terrible pain. So now she's shorn. She looks like she may have had a stroke because her head kind of leans, so she walks and she looks kind of funny, and she's just a little tiny thing. So Hartley, my dog, has not seen Megan since the day Megan dropped him off. And I said to him, "Come to the door, look who's here." He walks the door, looks out, it's dark. And when this little dog comes in, my dog let out a growl that I've never heard out of him. But apparently he can be fierce with little dogs. Apparently when he was in the pack at Megan's house, he grabbed a little dog and slammed it down and broke its tooth. So it was just funny to see my dog because, like I said, he hasn't seen Megan since November when she brought him. So he laid at my feet and he nudged me, pet me, pet me. He never does that, ever. He'd lay his head on my foot. He never does that. And then he'd go over and kind of interact with her. Meanwhile, Lily is just walking circles around the downstairs, just walking circles. And then maybe every third time she'd come over and let me pet her a little. Megan said she's not going to be a snuggler. I put her up on the chair with me, and she jumped off and fell on her head. I felt so bad, but Megan said she'd be the type that would just walk right off your bed and hurt herself. but she's still sweet. And my husband asked, does she bark a lot? And Megan said, I've never heard her bark ever. But she said that about Hartley too. And I think if a dog thinks that nobody is ever going to answer, why bark? Look at this beautiful garment. This is called Merced. It's a beautiful slip stitch, not slip stitch, drop stitch pattern. This is the yarn called Lyrico. Isn't that gorgeous? The little tears or little white areas in the yarn, to me, make it look like it's glitter, but it's not. It's just a neat effect. And you could make this shorter, or if you want it longer. And here it is. I think it's gorgeous. Wow. I think that is really, really pretty. Has a garter stitch band down the front. Short sleeves. There's a better picture. And it takes either 3, 4, or 5 balls on a size 9 needle. Okay, and then this I thought was very clever. It's a scarf. Again, it's drop stitch, but look at this pattern created by the drop stitching. So while that's a peachy green color, this is greens, browns, spring greens. So then it has this drop stitch pattern at intervals, and then little bottom with the pattern. I think this is really, really neat. Would be a neat piece to wear. Try not to make a lot of noise. Try not to make a lot of noise. Did I show the... Yeah, I showed the boat neck Girandola. I don't want to get mixed up about... I think I did anyway. What I showed and what I didn't show. This is called Enorm. Look at those colors. Enorm. It is a super bulky jumbo merino blend with handcrafted dye effect. Made in Italy. Wow. You could do something really, really neat with that. And what they sent was, here's another color. Woo! Wow. You see that and right away you just start thinking about casting something on. They sent the Enorm vest. So here's the back. And there's the front. It is heavy. I think it would definitely keep you warm. Then there's like a strip down the back. A nice button to accent it. And it's called Magnolia. And then there's the one-page pattern. It is done in pieces, left front, right front, back. So, super bulkies really haven't been much in vogue. I can't wait to see them come back and get more popular. This is Patora, which is a bamboo merino blend. It's a beautiful yarn. We have samples made out of it. And the shawl, the newly designed shawl, I think is beautiful. It's called Aubrey. Isn't that so pretty? Here's the front. It is kind of an overcast day, so it can be a little bit. And might be a little bit hard to see the design. If I had a white sheet or backdrop behind it, I bet you could really see it. This yarn, it's a luxury yarn. It just feels wonderful. Maybe there you can see some of the lace work, but I think it's beautifully designed. So that is Aubrey, and I don't know if I showed, because I podcasted once and had to trash it and start over. I might have shown some of these things before, and now I don't know. This is back to Girandola. It's a wrap. And this is, again, the color Ruby by the Sea, the same color that was in the top. And I think this yarn would be a delight for your fingers to work with. And I think this top would be good for various sizes. Unless you're really busty, you may not, I have found that some tops really look good on certain body types and not good on others. Some tops look good on small-chested women and terrible on big-chested women. And then the opposite is true. Some tops I've seen look terrible on small-chested women. So it just depends on. Okay, let's see what else. This is the brushed Amatola. Feels very, very soft. It's 15% wool, 25% cotton, 60% mohair, 328 yards, about a DK weight. That is the scarf pattern that I showed you. That's called Fallen Leaf. And then the little scarf I showed you that I couldn't find the yarn, this one. This is a yarn called Lucy, and it's about a sport weight. Oh, number 1 yarn, fine. Virgin wool, acrylic, and viscose, 349 yards. And it seems like I should have a couple more yarns to show you maybe. Let's see. So Megan told me not to make a decision about Lily right away because I wanted a snuggler. She's not a snuggler, even though I thought she was really sweet. So she said she's getting 3 more dogs in from New York to just give it a week or so and see. So I said, okay, that's fine. Megan, I encouraged Megan to do a podcast. That I think it would be really neat to have somebody doing a podcast about their rescue in their home, show you the animals that come and go, the families that come in to look at them, the families that adopt them, how it works out. I think it'd be really great. She's currently out of work. I said maybe she could do a Patreon. I think it'd be a wonderful idea. What I was looking for was the big ball of the plain Amatola. Ah, here it is. That is just the plain Amatola. Well, that is so pretty. I haven't found in this area for browns to be really popular. I think they're just gorgeous. Reminds me of the outdoors. And So what do you think about a podcast, an animal rescue? I mean, she gets new dogs in all the time, and every time she adds a new dog to the pack or a cat, it changes the whole dynamics of her house, the family. Some dogs are what they call jerks. They antagonize other dogs. And then there are issues with cats too. Some cats have a lot of catitude. They have to be the only cat in the house and so forth. So I hope I showed you a good time. All these beautiful things that I will get to enjoy for 2 weeks and show to other people. And then I'll have to pack them back up. The next podcast, I'll show you the things that I've been doing, the things that customers are doing, like this little scarf I just made. And I hope all of you are doing well. And I'd love to hear from you, what you're doing, how you're doing. Yeah. My husband, I'll just give you a little update. I always called him the big dog. We used to have 3 dogs. I was really worried about him because he started looking kind of haggard, and he has to wear oxygen at night. He has terrible lung disease from Agent Orange exposure, and his nose has been purple, and that's telling me he's not getting enough oxygen. So this has been going on maybe a month. And last night in bed, he said, guess what? I found out my oxygen was turned to 0. Well, little grandchild boy, yeah, I'm sure that's what we both thought of. So by the next podcast, I might have a little shop dog. It's amazing how many people come in saying, where's Ellie? Where's the dog? People that don't even knit or crochet. She had like a little fan club, and I miss her the most when I'm driving home from work and I see people out walking their dog, because she and I always had this game like, oh, there's a dog, look, 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 and she would look and she'd wag her tail. And so I miss her a lot, but Hartley has come a long way on these supplements called NutriThrive. Just a little scoop of powder. He's like a different boy. And the other day, I actually saw him running around our yard. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think he could run. He can't do steps. And yet, a week or so ago, I got home and my husband said, Hartley got into trouble 3 times today. He got in the cat food. He got in the cat food again. And it has a top that clicks down, but he can get his jaws and lift that up. So, when you're married a long time, you start thinking alike. And I'm thinking, well, just move the cat food up the stairs. My husband did. And Hartley went up and got that. And I said, how'd he get back down? My husband said he ran back down. So I can't say enough about this supplement, how much it's changed him and brought him to life. So I think if we did get Lily, because Lily doesn't bother him, she just kind of walks around. Megan said, I'm curious for her fur to grow out and see, we think she's a Welsh Terrier, but we don't really know. But check out Good Old Tales on the web. And I hope you have a great month knitting. We've had a mild winter here, not much snow, and good things are happening. My office building, which has sat empty for 3 years, God has blessed us, and there's finally a contract on that. What a weight lifted, right? What a weight lifted. And so shine, baby, shine, no matter what's going on. Don't lose your smile. Don't lose your joy in the Lord. That's what keeps you smiling, that you know that He loves you, that He cares about you. No matter what's going on, He's in control. So shine, baby, shine. I'll see you the next time. Leave some comments. Let me know how you're doing. And I'll give this away to a random number, the Lyrico. So just make sure you leave a comment. And see you the next time. Shine, baby, shine.